like your Billy Ocean.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another Anything Joe's Unboxing. My name is Greg Engel and I'll be your unboxer today. Today on Anything Joe's we're going to see if I can get this entire honking thing on my camera. And if we can, I'm going to put it together. I've heard a lot of different things about this All-Striker. When the people that got it at the convention got it, they were upset about the roll bar cage and the machine gun on the front. So I've heard a lot of mixed reviews. It does not really look... it doesn't look like the All-Striker, especially, in my opinion. But here it is, so I guess we're going to find out. Let's slap this bad boy down on the table and see how it holds up to the original All-Striker. The All-Striker in Crankcase is number 171 in the Classified series. Oh, well look, there's a bridge layer in the back. A toll booth coming soon? Very unlikely, based on the vehicle. Once we got another All-Striker, and there's one where the roll cage is falling off already. How handy. And then of course Crankcase, who looks very good, and I'm very excited to see it. I didn't even know it came with this little like kerchief thing and all that. I haven't in honesty looked at this much at all, which makes it all the more exciting to open her up. On the back we can see all the stuff that it comes with, which we're going to get into hands-on here in just a second. A profile shot. Hey, it's got 2 seats on the inside, guys, and would you believe it, but there's a back of it. I'm really going to have to go on hard. Now this at least makes sense. It's got a cool data readout, like a GPS stuff on the side. That I'm interested in. This I'm not sure about. Surely got something better to show. And it has its own stats at the bottom. Alright, let's break her open and put her together. Included with the All-Striker are the following. 1 All-Striker, as pictured. 2 ammo crates. 1 gasoline can. 1 toolkit. 2 antenna. 1 gun designed for shooting up. 1 roll cage. 2ndary roll cage for the back. 1 cherry. 1 instruction sheet. 1 sticker sheet. 2 secondary guns. Installation for the All-Striker looks reasonably simple. It's actually only a four-step process. Step 1, put the chair in. Step 2, add your top roll cage. Step 3, secondary roll cage. Step 4, everything else. All these accessories do have small holes in the bottom, and they slot in right here where you would normally see like a foot peg. this is how it looks all put together, with everything except for the stickers, which I probably won't put on based on how they look. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, you can see that there are some problems that stand out right away. This gun is very gummy. In general, a lot of the plastic on this, these like rocket launchers, this big gun, it's just, it's not a firm enough plastic. I would argue that even this roll bar, which I'll talk about at length in a minute, could have been done better. So there's some issues with some of the plastic on it for sure, but the overall design on it is pretty sharp. There's a suspension element, which you would really expect to have in an All-Striker, right? And I think that's really fun. And the tires have got these little, they've got the grips that I think is good. There's some like intentional wear on the star. We've got all our pre-applied stuff that matches up with the All-Striker. They've added a third seat in the back, and I don't know how I feel about that because it changes the design of the whole thing, really. I think it's okay, but it's going to take some getting used to. Just in general, assembling this, the first thing I thought of is that it reminded me of the Crossfire. It's more shaped like that than the All-Striker. The inside of the console has a moving steering wheel, tons of details on the dashboard. It has a little walkie-talkie that's like kind of hanging that you can move and put in somebody's hand. The gear shift is slightly maneuverable. There's some other wiring in here. There's even an emergency brake that you can put into place, as well as a cup holder. Lots of great details on the inside of it. On the front, you can see that there's a working tow hook, just like all the old toys. You just spin the wheel to reel it back up, and we've got the lights on the front with the grate. There are multiple spots on the sides and on the backs for attaching classified figures or other accessories. It seems like a lot of the stuff that's like plug and play all kind of has that same hole on the bottom, so I guess you could mix and match however you wanted. You could definitely take these pieces off and put classified figures there if you wanted to. There is no turning mechanism on these. This is about as, oh, there it is. It's just real clicky. So you got to kind of like wedge them into place. It's not going to turn easily on its own. Obviously there's none of that in the back, other than what I can just do with my bare hand right there. But yeah, it's obviously not meant to take any sharp turns. Accessories included with the crankcase are one knife, one set of goggles, one BMX style helmet, one standard Army Trooper helmet, one visor with the words off-road on it. This guy's got a lot of headgear. One full cover mask, Storm Rider style. One loose hanging one for when you don't need it. One pair of binoculars. One coffee cup with the Yo-Jo logos on it. Right, so let's take a look at Crankcase the figure. He's on a standard swivel ball joint. He's got pretty good mobility. I've seen, not as good as Budo, the other most recent figure I looked at, but it's pretty solid. He does have butterfly joints, and they're cleverly hidden under his green vest. He's got a bicep cut right here. He has double pinless elbows with good mobility overall. He's got an ab crunch that's tucked away under there, and it's very hard to see, which is a good thing. This is doing a lot of the work. We've got drop down hips. Legs fully functioning. Good range. We've got a boot cut right here. Got it up and down. And a little bit of wiggle. A lot of bit of wiggle. Some of these figures are like ninjas, man. Look at that. None of my other figures are like that. That's crazy. Oh, and of course I forgot our wrist swivel. The first place we're going to start is on the Crankcase head mold, which I'm a big fan of. Crankcase is most notorious known for his mustache, and you can see that they've actually extended that a little bit to make it just as classy as he is. His hair's got a lot of nice detailing too, with the like part on the side. Yeah, it works for me, man. Crankcase has got a little bit of malleability in terms of appearance. I think this matches it. In terms of his overall outfit, I'm pretty much on board with that too. We've got the green like vest covering here with the collared tan shirt. Look at the like old traditional G.I. Joe logo here. That's not something we see on these figures much. I'm surprised to see it. Rolled up sleeves and then just plain black gloves with our usual wrist communicator device. Not sure what that's supposed to be. It just looks like a stop sign. This vest is not molded on, it's just very firmly attached, so it could be removed if you wanted to. I'll make that decision when I look at our vintage crankcase. He's got a little communicator right here, like a little phone with the cord that attaches to it. Big pouch here, little pouches here. Just a spot of red there, goes all the way around for some like armor plating or whatever back here. On the belt, we've got a nice shiny gold belt buckle, and it has it looks like an eagle. Another symbol maybe I don't recognize. Just could be some random patriotic thing. That's another one we'll have to stack up to the original, but it really stands out because it's so bright gold. More pouches. Another pouch. Butt pockets, the most important part of any outfit. Great texturing on these pants to make them look like real, military pants. All the little grooves here, more pockets built in. We've got a gun holster here with a little button up flap, and that's not molded on either. Standard kneecaps, and then we've got just his regular brown boot, and on here he's got a little knife guard for the knife that we saw. Good looking figure. Crankcase is, he's an important Joe, and arguably more important to me than the All-Striker. So I'm glad that he looks very good. I think this figure has a lot of reuse potential as well. Let's gear him up and see how he looks. Option 1 is this crazy motorbike helmet. It doesn't really go on his head very well. I guess you could get it there if you wanted to, but I don't. This is Jaren's type of junk. This ruins what it looks like Crankcase. Look how modern it looks compared to the rest of his like very traditional outfit. This is a complete no-go. This I'm a little warmer to. I wish that the green was more in line with the other green that he had on his suit, or any other color on his suit, honestly. But this kind of makes sense. He's in the desert, etc., etc. He would have something like this. And then if he wants to pull it up, you just put him on like this. Now you got like Spy Troops monkey wrench going on right there. Same complaint there. It's just not the right color. It really clashes with everything else that's on his outfit. I would not be using this, but I bear it no ill will for being included. Next option is his off-road sun visor. Great fit, goes around his head perfectly well. It sits perfectly well. It looks good. For like casual crankcase, I can see this. This has a use, it's just not what I would display him with, but I do like it. And I always love when these little details like putting text printed on it comes through. Goggles, same, tight fit. Line up with his eyes correctly. It looks pretty solid. Makes sense for a desert guy, right? This is probably the best like additional accessory that's been included because it looks really good and it wears really well. This and the visor both are solid accessories. And of course our regular helmet. I have pretty much the exact same complaint I have with the rest of this. It does not match anything else in his outfit. And that tends to make me want to just leave it off altogether, even though the original Crankcase did come with a helmet pretty much like this. And it just bothers me. I would argue that the coffee cup is too small for his hand. It just doesn't look proportionally correct. He's also, maybe it's just this particular hand, but he's not able to hold it in a very convincing or like, I don't know, it just doesn't look like it's something he was meant to hold. I'm sure it'll look fine in the cup holder, but I had higher hopes for it than that. Maybe I'll just put it in his holster. So yeah, my Crankcase is as bare bones as it gets. I'm going to give him his knife, and that's it. He's just going to be with the All-Striker anyway, and he's probably going to be in the driver's seat, so he doesn't need a bunch of stuff on it. And most of the stuff that came with it, I'm pretty happy with. So for the figure parts of things, I feel like it passes with flying colors. It looks really good. Original Crankcase does pretty much have a lot of the same stuff going on, and he does have the wrong color helmet, so I guess that's really not on them. They did their due diligence. It's on somebody else. So that actually might make me put the helmet back on. That's how easily swayed I am. A lot of great stuff matching up here, right? The shirt doesn't make a ton of sense like this. Look at it up close. He's got this collar poking through, but then he's got like another green shirt over top of it for the sleeves that it extends down here, and it doesn't. I mean, nobody cared as a kid, right? But it doesn't make a ton of sense, and so I'm guessing that's where this changes come from. That the green is meant to be more like an armor piece or a vest piece, And then this would make sense to match the shirt that's underneath it, a regular normal collared shirt. And then this vest that allows them to get the like brown straps, and they've added this big thing on here as well. We can see that the same gold belt buckle, it's just like an eagle. I don't know if I can zoom in that close. It's just like an eagle flying, or at least that's what it looked like back then. My Crankcase is in good shape, and that's great because he's awesome. Black gloves are the same. The pants are the same. They've got the same like holster with the little pocket here, right down to the brown gloves. They've added a knife over here, but I don't think anybody's going to fault them for that. It's an extremely faithful version. I mean, really, the sleeves are the only thing they changed, and it totally makes sense why they did it. The original All-Striker mold has been released potentially more times than any other vehicle in G.I. Joe history, and to my knowledge, it has changed little to none at all over the years. So when I tell you that I'm not 100% sure which one this is, I mean, I can tell you some things for sure. It has both of the antennas, so it's got to be one of the newer ones. It might even be the very last wave that Walmart put out, the like end of the vintage retro wave. But all the parts are in place that we can compare it to the big boy. Obviously, we've already talked about how the roll cage is separated, and I get why they did that, so you can get a third person and then you can get somebody to actually control the huge gun. Most of the stuff still stacks up, but this has much more of a dune buggy feel than the other one. The other one is more, I feel like, Jeep oriented, but you see a lot of the hits are in the same place. Everything from the front gear with the lights to the big gun in the back, the antennas, and the segment roll cage, and the suspension as well. So it's hard to be too critical of it, but I do think something was lost in translation. They took this little, I think this is supposed to be a camera on the original one, and they changed that to a gun because you just bring scoop. You don't need to put one on the dash, boys. You got a guy that's just made for that. I know it's hard to see this, but I want to take one last look at it with you guys before we call it. My overall feelings on this are mixed. There are things that are very bad with it. This plastic and here, this plastic, this plastic. The roll bar cage, for all its woes, did not really give me any trouble. I put it in very hard. I mean, like, I applied a tremendous amount of pressure, which goes back to my other statement that the plastic on these is not really meant to endure a lot of pressure. So be careful where you're like bracing it. You can see, look at that. Yeah, okay. So, and it wants to pop out at other spots as a result. It would probably benefit from being glued in, but I'm not ready to do that to my $100 toy just yet. I love the inside parts and all the details that come along with that. I think it looks really, really good. And I think it will display well. But again, my biggest complaint is just that some of the manufacturing quality is not up to par. And it doesn't really resemble the All-Striker. Not in the way that many other vehicles that we've gotten from this line do. I'd like to replace this gun right away, and maybe this one as well. It was difficult to fasten this to the top also, but I think I managed to get it done. It gets a pass, but there's room for improvement. So anyway, that's going to do it for our unboxing of the All-Striker. I have mixed feelings about this. I feel like we've been on a pretty good tear overall lately. Everything I had gotten has been a slam dunk. And I do feel very strongly about the Crankcase. I think he looks awesome. And to echo a lot of other thoughts that are out there, I think the All-Striker is lacking in a lot of ways. That subpar plastic that's making those parts bend, I mean, right out of the package, they're already just warped considerably. The design of the All-Striker is lacking. I just say it. I hope they don't repaint it. I hope it gets retooled before we see it again, because it does not capture the original design enough, in my opinion. Some people might feel differently about that. Maybe you're one of those people, and if so, I'd love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on the All-Striker? Do you have yours in? How was the assembly? What's the display look like for it? Are you glad that you got it, or do you think this is something that could wait for a clearance, down the line? Oh, that's always a little iffy, but when you can get it, the getting's good. Leave a comment here, write us an email at anythingjoespod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. Thanks so much for watching. We look forward to talking to you in our next unboxing video, where anything's available for discussion here on Anything Joe's.